I like Battlefield 5 despite all of the criticism that it has received. It's a game that isn't trying to reinvent the wheel, and it offers up gameplay that's somewhat fresh. It seems kinda weird at first to be revived by a woman, but if you die as much as me, which is a lot, you get used to it. Plus, I feel like a lot more men play this game than women, and if they prefer to play as a woman, then power to them. Historical accuracy is of little importance when sector artillery is pouring down on you. After having played countless hours of the online, I think there's a lot of people that missed out on a great multiplayer experience. There are plenty of guns, and after the last update, now plenty of maps. It sadly lacks the typical level of polish that DICE's games normally have this far after launch. And there still are a few bugs, but this is one of the best Battlefield experiences I've had, and it's definitely better than Hardline. Battlefield 5's maps are what I call dynamic, as in they're always changing in some sort of way. I think Battlefield 5's maps tap into Bad Company 2's map design just a little bit. The maps are large enough to still offer ways to flank, but small enough that there isn't a lot of empty space. Maps feature plenty of destructible environments, and the weapons cannot have numerous attachments. One of the most satisfying things I found in a Battlefield game is the Levolution and the ability to tear apart your environment. Seeing a map full of destroyed buildings and creators is awesome because the player made it, not the developer, and this game has plenty of it. You also have greater ability to customize your character unlike other Battlefield entries. However, this initially looked like an appeal to the SJWs and feminists of gaming. After all, women in prosthetic limbs did exist in World War II, but it was highly unlikely to see the two together in the Western theater of war. In the final product though, customization is a fun addition that feels almost like an anachronism if you want to be picky. And based on the amount of people who play as the elite characters, it probably wasn't a bad idea. Reinforcements is a new addition to the game that functions like an ultimate in Apex Legends or Overwatch. Killing an enemy by the objective earns you extra points, and it's easy to accrue them if you're making sure your team always has health or ammo and are spotting bad guys or blowing up tanks. These points are what help you call in reinforcements. Reinforcements can help turn the tide of battle, as calling in sector artillery can easily wipe out other players, a smoke barrage can help you push an objective, and tanks are just awesome. I do hope this is one addition that is here to stay. As I mentioned earlier though, I fear many won't get to enjoy this Battlefield experience because they don't want to feel like they're supporting feminisms or SJWs or even EA. Something like this is enough to stop them from purchasing this game. And EA has reached the point now where loot boxes, DLC, and season passes are curse words in the gaming community. Something which can stop players outright from buying a game. Thankfully, loot boxes are absent and microtransactions are purely cosmetic. There is no season pass, but there won't be much content coming to Battlefield 5 after this summer, sadly. Fortifications is another feature that has been added, and I think it's a cool addition. Players can earn some points in the early game lull, or just do something if the offensive team is drip feeding into the objective. With the defenses, you now have a better chance of killing the enemy thanks to the cover and extra ammunitions it gives you. If an enemy overruns you, however, they now have a highly defensible position. Destructible environments, customizable weapons, fortifications, and now clothing options are designed to give the player more control, and that is why I think Battlefield 5 is a good game. The player has a lot more control over their looks and their environment. There will always be a clear difference between the beginning of the round and the end of it when looking at the map, and it was all created by the player. There's also a plethora of assignments to do. Gold camos can be unlocked if you complete the mastery assignment for the gun. Class assignments can give you new pieces of clothing, camos, or points that you can use to unlock other goodies. And there's even daily challenges, so there's always something you can be doing. I think the biggest tragedy with this game was the marketing. Including historical inaccuracies in the trailer and then telling the fan base that if they don't like it, then don't buy it was a terrible idea. After all, how do you know if you'd like it unless you tried it out yourself? Many people felt that a woman with a prosthetic limb in the trailer was an attempt to appeal to the highest common denominator rather than the fans. I don't mean to sound sexist, but I can't help but wonder if the reception to the reveal trailer would have been warmer if it had just been all men. After all, COD World War II's trailer was well received, the likes to dislikes ratio is anything to go by. There weren't hundreds of people taking to the comments section and saying, "Not my COD," after all. Battlefield 5 was faithful to the trailer. You can slide. Being too close to a V1 rocket will send you back. You can drag heavy equipment behind you using vehicles. Fortifications can be built. You can call for help if you're downed. And you can also play as the opposite sex. The trailer was supposed to be just a taste of what was to come, but it was botched after someone decided to include something so different to what we're used to in a World War II game that many people took to the comments and YouTube to protest with the tag, "Not my Battlefield." I think it would have been better to show off the separate campaigns with its diverse cast of characters rather than this. It would have better showed DICE's desire to highlight untold stories of World War II. We all know about the Allied landings in Normandy, but have you heard about the Senegalese? I'd be lying if I said this game had no faults though. Some bugs can pop up out of nowhere and stop you from playing the game. And as I said before, this just doesn't feel like the level of polish we're used to in a Battlefield game. You'll still have the player who never leaves the plane. You can be seconds from spawning only for the game to kick you back to the map screen. Some objectives in Breakthrough are undoubtedly harder to take than others. But that's about all the issues I've had. I never bothered with the campaign as I sadly have little patience for those things anymore, despite being an advocate for them, but it's there for you to enjoy and experience, unlike Battlefront 2015. All in all, Battlefield 5 is an enjoyable Battlefield experience that I wish many more gamers got to have. It's not perfect, and it definitely is not the definitive Battlefield experience. There's a lot of things in it that reminded me of Bad Company 2. A game that many people feel was one of the best Battlefield games. Customizable characters gave players more control over how they looked, instead of looking like generic US Soldier No. 1. Reinforcements encourage everyone to play the objective and your role, and the enhanced movement mechanics can make gunfights more intense. Hopefully Battlefield 6 learns from the past, and I do hope many more fans will try this game out. Feel free to leave a comment below on what you think Battlefield 5 did right, and what it totally got wrong. Thank you for watching.